Matt Derry, Locked on Lions. Tony Wiggins, Locked on Jaguars. T. Wig is a legend in this biz and with the network. Everybody loves him. So I mean, we can sit here and go keys to the game. We could get in trouble with Ross Jackson, our boss out here on the network, and I want to hear about this ass whipping that you're expecting. They played, like you said, they got outgained last week, but they only lost by 5 to the Vikings, who are right there with the Lions. But you think that is not going to happen this week?
No, because Detroit makes you pay for everything. I mean, everything has currency attached to it. Every yard, even when you make the first down, you're going to get hit. Your chin buckle is going to buckle a little bit, your chin strap. They make you pay for everything. And that's probably why they end up winning that game last week against Houston, also putting them in bad down and distance situations. And also because they had to stop people. Dan Campbell said they got to stop people. They got to get turnovers. And then they got to catch up. Well, guess what? They were able to do that. You can't come from behind if you don't stop people. They make you pay for everything, and it's with their culture and their mentality. And the Jaguars are a team that will give you a whole bunch of stuff that they got to pay for. They're going to come to the cash register. You know, it says like only 10 items or fewer. Well, we're coming up with 40 different things that we're trying to pay for, right? And very little money to do it. They just make too many mistakes. I think when it's about man on man, you're going to see that they're physically not a bad football team. When it comes to Brian Thomas Jr., he'll get loose if they go deep to him and find him. He'll be able to play. Both running backs can play. You mentioned Travis Etienne. Tank Bigsby can also play. Joshua Hines-Allen is a very, very good football player. And Trayvon Walker, even though he's going to be matched up against Penei Sewell most of the time, I'm going to tell you what ain't going to happen. You ain't going to see him getting pancaked all day. And I'll put that on everybody, that's not what you're going to see. And y'all might be surprised at how good he is. The problem and the issue is they can't do what they want to do when they want to do it. The Jaguars don't run the ball well in the red zone, even when they're healthy with Trevor Lawrence. And you know as well as I do, when you get to the red zone, you need touchdowns. And you need to be able to give the ball to your running backs and convert and get first downs, or you need to be able to score when you're inside the red zone. They don't do it, so they can't. And when you can't run, that to me, that's the litmus test of a football team. Can you, for the most part, convert on 3rd and 1? The answer is no. Can you have 1st and goal on the 4 and go without completing a pass or attempting a pass and score a touchdown? The answer is no. That's all game. So if you can't do it all game, you ain't going to be able to do it late in the game either. That's why they lose so much, because those inches, that little bit, just keeps them from being a good football team. And that's something that you can't manufacture, you can't scheme, and you can only fix it in the offseason, because you got to get bigger, stronger, and more physical. And it might take more than one offseason to do that. They haven't been able to accomplish that. You cannot beat a team like Detroit that is everything that you want to be, and you ain't none of that. And that's why I think they're going to lose, and I think it's going to be the most lopsided. It might not be score-wise, but it'll probably be the most lopsided game from a physical standpoint once it gets into the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Well, that's what I think for the Lions. I mean, getting back to it's not, this happened earlier in the year in week 2 when Goff threw the ball over 50 times. And the next week in Arizona, they just came out with David Montgomery and pounded the Cardinals to start that game. That's what kind of I anticipate this week. You mentioned Trayvon and some good pieces on that defense. I know the secondary has not been as good as they thought it would be down in Jacksonville, but I think one key is starting the game off with Montgomery and then going to Gibbs and just pounding that football. And, with Mac Jones, I think they've got to get some pressure on him. I know this is not the second coming of Brett Favre or anything like that, or Trevor Lawrence, or, even Mark Brunell in his day in Jacksonville. But with that being said, if he gets time to throw, he gets confidence. And I think the Lions with Darius Smith now, a healthy Josh Pascal who played last week, get some pressure on Mac Jones. That's when you can get him to turn the ball over, is when you got somebody in his grill. And it wouldn't surprise me to see Aaron Glenn, who didn't do a ton of blitzing against Stroud this past week, dial some things up. You're at home. You've won 7 in a row. You're expected to win this game. Why not kind of let it all out? And I think you might see that from the Lions this week.
I don't blame them. And the other part of this is, when we talk about culture, it's an overused word. But so I'll just put it like this. Just watching this from afar, if I could take Aiden Hutchinson, Brian Branch, Penei Sewell, definitely Amon-Ra St. Brown, definitely him, and Ali McNeil, and I put them in front of an x-ray machine where you don't see the outside, you see the inside. There'd be a big old Great Dane or a Rottweiler right there, and it all looks alike.
They're football players.
They have that thing, and that thing is you get it at every level with multiple players on one team, and then they're playing against a team that has maybe two guys that have that. And there may be more than that. I think Brian Thomas Jr. and ETN and Bigsby, they have it too, but it's unrecognized right now because it's not winning. See, it's winning there, and winning feeds that beast up in Detroit. I mean, y'all, that team is probably full of kneecaps with all the kneecaps they've been chewing the last 2 years, right? Well, the Jaguars are still looking and searching and trying to find an identity, and they're going to be playing against a team that has one, and that's why I don't think it's going to be much of a contest. Close early. I think by the end of the game, you're looking at a 2-score game.
I agree with you, Tony. I think it's going to be that kind of game. People are saying, "Oh, can this be a trap game?" And the Lions just got done with 4 out of 5 on the road. Big road win at Green Bay. Big road win at Houston. They'll be let down. I don't think so. I think they know they did not play very well the other night and still escape. So I think they're going to take it out on the Jags as well.